Hi, my name is Teresa, and the career profile that I chose to do my assignment on is an adoption caseworker. And the example organization that I chose was LDS Family Services here in Houston. I have some experience with this adoption agency as that's who we adopted our son through. And I do have a career contact who was our very first caseworker, Julie Lamb. She was very kind to help me out with this project. The working environment, it's a small organization, but it covers a large geographical area. And the appointments, and the office is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So normal office hours, but you can also, as each adoption case worker can make appointments outside of those times to better to be more convenient for the families, for the adoptive families and birth moms or birth parents. It's not a very family friendly schedule for a person taking that job because it does have office times, or not office times, but you are required to make appointments after office times. There is also room for independence, as you can schedule those meetings by all means, on your own time. Just make sure that you get them done and the deadlines are met. Some of the typical stressors are time being spent away from your family. When your children obviously get home from school, you're out making these meetings with these birth parents and adoptive families. That can be a stressor. Another one is adoption law. Adoption law can vary from county to county, and it's hard to keep straight. And knowing what each county's laws, it's just can be a big stressor. Also, one thing that Julie said was being a mediator between birth parents and adoptive parents. Sometimes there's some miscommunication going on and they have to jump in and be the mediator for that. And it can be a little stressful sometimes because you love both families and you want them both to be happy. And sometimes that doesn't happen, but you try your best to compromise for, the adoptive parents and birth parents. The typical benefits I found on LDS Family Services website, or LDS.org. When you work for the church, you get the normal medical, dental, vision, and life and disability insurances are offered, along with occupational death and dismemberment, and annual sick pay are provided. There's also retirement and tax savings plans benefits. The common job tasks are educating families on how to go about the adoption process and adoption law, telling them what to expect, how to choose an adoption attorney, perform home studies. A home study, it's an assessment of the adoptive couple, of their lifestyle, of their health, of their relationships, and criminal background. They also come to the adoptive family's home to make sure they are able to provide an environment for the child they are going to adopt that's conducive to raising a child. This home study is reported to the state, and they are then approved or denied to adopt based on that home study. The caseworker is to also help in finding them to adopt a child, help aid in that. They deal quite a bit with potential birth parents and mothers to present to them all the resources so they can decide whether they want to adopt or keep the baby to raise themselves. Caseworkers, one thing she said was they do not try to persuade them to what am I looking for? They don't try to persuade them towards adoption. They present them with their resources and they make their own decision. Let's see here. And then they also make post-adoption visits to the adoptive family, and it depends on what state you're in, how many that can be per state. And then they keep the child's adoption records and they maintain those there at the agency. Educational requirements I found our minimum requirement is a bachelor degree, but they want that degree to be accredited by the Council of Social Work on Education and a licensure. One of the requirements based on the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, require either 2 years or 3,000 supervised clinical experience. But each state is different, and it's probably a good thing to, well, it is a good thing to research what your state requires. The starting salary range I found varied between 28,000 to 31,000 annually. Experience salary range is about 43,000 to 45,000 annually. And I chose this career profile because we had a less than awesome experience with our adoption, it was mainly due to our caseworker, and it was I wish that it was a better experience, and I hope that this is my number one career choice, and so I hope that I'm able to help people have a awesome experience with adoption in the future, as they relate to me as the adoption caseworker, because we had a really hard time communicating with our adoption caseworker. And that's my profile. I look forward to seeing everybody else's.